friends, welcome to this first video in the series about how to have more fun. You deserve to have more fun. You know that you work hard, you deserve to be able to play hard. And you know what? Even more than that, I'm gonna go so far as to say is you deserve to be able to actually have fun while you're working hard. And maybe it wouldn't feel so hard if that was happening. Here's where I'm going. As I said in my intro video, one of the things that I noticed in my life in 2017 is that I wasn't necessarily appreciating the good things that I had enough. I wasn't feeling like I was having as much fun, even though a lot of things are great. Great business, amazing employees, an amazing family, an amazing house, like a lot of things going my direction, right? But I wasn't feeling the fun in a lot of areas because of a few key things. And that's what I find for most of us is that it's like a few key things, right? So here's where I'm going with you in this very, very first video. Now, we've got to set the foundations in place before we can build up. Would you agree? So as we set the foundations in place, let me just take you back about 6 years ago as I was going through a tough time in my life. I had not even started the business that I currently run. My life was nowhere near financially, relationally, physically even where it is today. And frankly, I was going through probably some depression. I was at an event. I'd gotten hired to go and do a little bit of coaching on a contract basis with a client, and I literally remember the hotel that I was in at this place in Nebraska. I could drive there to this day because the moment where I discovered this one really, really crucial thing was so profound that I can literally go back and relive that moment right now. I can remember how I was feeling, what I was going through, and where my mindset was. Even the color of the room. So I'm sitting in this hotel room at a state park in Nebraska. It was evening, it was late. I wasn't tired, I was having a hard time getting to sleep. And I brought this book with me called Success Principles by Jack Canfield. Now, Jack Canfield is one of the co-authors of Chicken Soup for the Soul, which next to the Bible, Harry Potter, and 50 Shades of Grey is one of the most successful book series of all time. I was sitting there reading through the intro, kind of getting through the first few pages, and then I get to the first principle in this book called Success Principles. There's 36. I encourage you to get a copy of the book if you've never read it, and turn at minimum, if you never read a page, or never read the whole book, just go to the first principle. And when I got to that page of the book, when I read the first principle and I read through, it was like somebody literally punched me in the face. One of the number one principle of successful people is what's called 100% responsibility. Literally taking 100% responsibility for everything that goes on in your life, including the things that happen to you, not just the stuff that you are consciously doing, even the things that supposedly happen to you. As I read on in the book, that's literally what Jack goes on to describe, is it's literally accepting full 100% responsibility for everything that is going on in your life. And I sat back after I read this and I'm like, well, I don't really like it. I mean, I could think of all these different things that different people had done to me over time. Namely, when I was 16, I was driving home one night from bow hunting in my little Mazda B2000 pickup truck, and as I came up over this gravel road, this hill on this gravel road going about 35 miles an hour, there was a great big John Deere tractor pulling a chopper in a chopper box driving on my side of the road. He was in the wrong and there was no way for me to stop it. I plowed into this guy at 35 miles an hour. I'm so lucky to even be alive as a result of that. I had a broken femur, a crushed tibia and fibula. I took multiple surgeries to get better and get back into shape. And eventually I did. And that was certainly a profound moment where I really started appreciating life. And I'm even thankful that it happened, to be honest with you. But in that moment, that was his fault. We went back, we even went to court to prove that it was his fault because the initial police report was wrong. They were saying it was 50-50. I had a hard time getting through to myself that I was responsible. No, he was the guy that was driving on the wrong damn side of the road. And then over time, as I reflected on this, what came through for me is I realized that, you know what? Nobody forced me to be driving down that road at that particular time. In fact, I had been out in the deer stand that night bow hunting. I thought there was a deer coming, so I waited extra long, even staying past the sunset, only to find out that it was a great big bushy-tailed gray squirrel coming around the thicket. I thought it was a deer. I was convinced, but it was a squirrel, and I'm like, oh my gosh, right? But then I get down and I walk to the vehicle and I turn on the radio, and here's my favorite song, circa 1997, Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba. And I get knocked down, I get up again, I'm doing the whole thing in the car. And so am I probably distracted a little bit at that point? Yeah, I guess I was. So nobody forced those things to happen. Nobody forced me to go 35. I could have gone 50. I could have been going way too fast, 50, 55, and I would have been in position sooner and actually would have avoided him. I could have been going a little bit slower and been there 4 seconds later and probably would have seen him coming over the hill and been able to avoid the accident. Right? All of these things, the driver of that tractor had nothing to do with. That was not his fault. That was on me. And when I really got that, and then I overlaid that on this whole concept that I'm learning that I am 100% responsible for everything that happens in my life, which really even means that I'm actually even responsible for the way that people act around me, or at least my perception of the way that people are acting around me. Now, that might be a tough one for you to swallow, but stick with me through the next couple of videos. Hopefully that will make more sense. Accepting full responsibility for your current situation. Okay? 100% responsibility. If that's something that you can at least start to get on board with and understand, the next few videos probably won't be possible for you. When I talk in the next video about what are your standards, that probably won't resonate or make sense with you. So I would just suggest turning it off now. But if you understand what I'm getting at is that you literally are responsible. I'm talking radical self-accountability, my friend, for everything that goes on in your life. If you can get on board with that, then it actually becomes possible for you to have more fun, for you to get more out of life, to be able to live more, to laugh more, to love more, to stop surviving and start thriving in whatever area of life it is that you want. So if you're willing to do that, here's your teaser. In the next video, I'm literally going to give you the number one secret, the number one thing that I'm doing right now that is helping me consistently experience a more abundant, thriving life. Click on through if you're in. Go to the next video. Enjoy. Everything else is just surviving, my friends. It's your time to thrive today. Let's go get it.